Hello everyone, we are here, we are live, we are ready to go, and as you can see, we are actually, unusually enough, starting in the VAB, so I suppose I should explain. What you're looking at here is the Arm 1. This is my asteroid recovery vessel. It is currently connected to an asteroid that it did manage to wrangle and get into an orbit of the moon, an asteroid that has been featured the last couple of weeks as I was, well, not attempting, I succeeded in connecting a docking hub to that particular asteroid. But I also had a contract to have 3 tourists visit an asteroid, and I took tourists out there only to discover I hadn't looked well enough at the fine print where it says here that said asteroid has to be in Kerbin's orbit above an altitude of 75 kilometers. Unfortunately, we are in orbit about the moon, so this contract never did get satisfied. So that's one thing that was a little bit of a disappointment. The other thing is that asteroid, I just put it in orbit around the moon without really thinking about it, and it is in a very awkward orbit for a space station. I would much rather put it in a polar orbit. So that's really what this is going to be about, is eventually getting that asteroid into a polar orbit so it'll form a good platform upon which to make a moon station. But in order to do that, I need to push it around, and the Arm 1 that's currently on the asteroid is pretty much devoid of fuel. So what I want to do is bring up a whole ton of fuel. And then that got me thinking, why not try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone? I mean, switching from its current, it's almost a pure equatorial retrograde orbit, switching that to a polar orbit isn't going to be cheap. And in terms of the amount of fuel that you're going to use, it might not cost that different to actually leave the moon's SOI, enter Kerbin's orbit, maybe in a great big elliptical orbit that still intersects the moon's orbit, bring up a stack of Kerbals, and rendezvous with that asteroid in that orbit, satisfy this contract with these 3 tourists, and then go back into the moon's SOI and put it into the orbit in which I want to. I honestly don't think that would be that much more. I never worked it out, but I think it's in the same order of magnitude anyway in terms of fuel costs to do the two. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to build a fuel module to take up a ton of fuel. We're going to take the asteroid out of the moon's orbit, put it into Kerbin's orbit. We're going to send up a stack of Kerbals. Also, this will, by the way, get us a pile of science because I can do an asteroid sample in high space around Kerbin, and we'll put it in a nice elliptical orbit so it'll actually enter into low space too. We'll do an asteroid sample in low space, so we'll get some science, we'll satisfy some tourists, and we'll finally, hopefully, get that asteroid into a polar orbit. So that's a lot. We'll see how it goes, but what I need to do, and this is why we're in the VAB, is I need to build myself a vessel that can fuel this thing back up. Now, this thing has a ton of delta V, like it's 8.6 kilometers per second of delta V. It is a pretty mammoth vessel. It holds 7,760 units of liquid fuel, and I thought, you know what, I should just build something that is capable of filling this thing entirely. I mean, why not? If we're going to bring up a bunch of fuel, why not fill this thing entirely? And then if I ever in the future wanted to head off and wrestle another asteroid and bring that back into the area as well, I would have a fully fueled vehicle pretty much ready to go, or at least close to it. So what I want to do right now is build me a fuel barge that holds 7,760 units of liquid fuel. So why don't we get started? So I'm going to not save this. We're going to go new, and we're going to start with our Probodobodyne probe core, but a lot smaller. And actually, before I get started, last week, you may have noticed I put out a poll. This is the 9th episode in this season. I always take these live streams and split them into 9 episode seasons. I just got started doing that. It seems to be a nice way of chunking them up. And this is the 9th one, so that closes off this particular season or series, depending upon which side of the Atlantic you live on. And I thought, well, that's time for me to go on to something new. So I could go on to the next series that would follow right after this of these Kerbalism live streams, or something I've been having cooking in the back of my mind is a new tutorial series. So I put it to a YouTube poll, and the tutorial series won in that poll pretty close on a ratio of 2 to 1 in terms of votes go. So it won rather handily. So after this Monday stream, next Monday is going to be a brand new tutorial series, which is basically going to be all about career mode and doing all of those different contracts that come up in career mode. So that's what's going to be happening next Monday, and that will be each Monday for the next 2 or 3 months doing that, and then I'll get back to this again. Okay, the Thursday live streams will continue on per normal. And actually, while I'm in this whole thing of just doing announcements, I do want to thank, as always, my Patreon patrons and YouTube members who continue to support this channel. And if you want to support this channel, the links are down there in the description. And I want to particularly mention my newest YouTube member, Zombinus, who just added on just this week. Okay, so with that, let's get ourselves started. Let's get rid of this contract, and we'll start building some stuff here. So this is obviously just going to be a little probe body. I do need to bring up some monopropellant, so I'm just going to bring up the small, is that the smallest one? RCS tank, yeah, it is. Just looks really big. So we're going to do that. I want to put on some reaction wheels. Actually, why don't I put it, yeah, let's do it this way around. That way, that way. I also want to put on, before I forget, a KOS scriptable control system and put in the boot file and step up the space so it can hold the software that it needs. This is going to be really, really simple. This is just the core part. It's going to sort of a little pusher, as it were. And then what I want to do is put on some solar panels. Oh, a battery would be a good idea. Let's get a battery. I think this one's too, yeah, that one. And then we'll put on a bunch of solar panels. And this isn't going to be doing a whole lot, so a handful of aux sats. Right away, just rotate them the wrong way, why don't you? Eventually I'll get it. 6-way symmetry. There, that's about that. Okay, and then what we'll do, here, I'm going to put on a fairing because I'm going to enclose this. There's really 2 different ways because I'm going to eventually go 2.5 meter parts. And there's a couple of ways to deal with that. One is, if I go to payload, is to use a 2.5 meter service bay. It doesn't quite fit in there, but, you know, that's, yeah, pretty close. I could do that. But, you know, these things, they ain't light. These service, I mean, how much is this? This thing's 300 kilograms. And sometimes it's nice. You can also just simply put a fairing on the bottom of this and then enclose it all. Now, if you want, you can put on the interstage nodes. These are really handy. And then I can take something like a docking port. Where's my big docking port? This one. And you can do that right there. And so, like, there you have something, you know, once I put some motors on it and stuff, I can dock onto something and push it around. But I got into testing. I've already built this once, and I'm building it now for the second time. That for whatever reason, when I staged the fairing, this would disconnect and it would be catastrophe during my ascent. So I kind of I never did identify why that was happening. I was trying different ways of configuring it where this would always just disconnect from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the interstage nodes. I'm going to put on, let me go into structure here, a adapter like that. I'm going to put that on. That's it. We'll change that to that so it looks a little more, I don't know, industrial-like, and we'll put some struts in there. 4-way symmetry seems like a good plan. I'm on 6-way symmetry. That's probably too much. Do that. 4-way symmetry. I am, again, with my fingers in the bad spots. There we go. Oh my gosh, why is this being like this? There we go. That's not so hard, was it? And see, there you got a nice little something. Again, once I put some motors on it that can hook onto things. We'll stick some lights inside here. Like that. It's nice to sort of light up the inside. Let's see, pitch angle. Yeah, pitch them down like that. I can light that up in there. Change your colors to gray. There we go. Okay, so this is just sort of a little pusher vehicle. We'll pretty this up. I'm going to need an antenna before I forget. I do have a checklist, so if there are things I'm forgetting, hopefully I'll remember at some point. Is that going to stay? That'll be inside the fairing. Sure, why not? That'll work. Put it up here. Oh. There we go. And okay, now let's put our actual chunk of fuel that's going to go on this. So, again, I need 7,760 units of fuel, and my biggest fuel tank still is the Rockomax Jumbo 64 fuel tank, one of these fellas. Now I do have edit tanks, a button here. This comes from the mod Tank Configurator. Right now this is liquid fuel and oxidizer. I don't need the oxidizer. Now can I max this out? Full. I think that's done. Let's take that right out. Let's go here, liquid chemicals. Oh, that's that. Max, add. There we go, liquid fuel. So how many is that? That is 1,000. I don't think that's maxed out yet. No. There we go. 6,400 units of liquid fuel right there. And then on top of that, I'm going to put, I think it is, yeah, one of these fellas here. We'll do the same trick. We're going to edit this tank. Let's just do all of this out. It was 700. I think it helps to do it I don't know. Let's see. Max. Add. Full. There it goes. And that's another 1,600 units there. And I think that is how many units of liquid fuel? That's 8,000 units of liquid fuel. So that's got me happy there. Let's see. We'll color these a little grayish. There we go. And on top of that is going to go another docking port. Because that's got to dock onto something else. So there we go. Let's actually take out, or not take out, but turn off this fuel. So I don't want it, this is payload. I don't want this in the calculations. But yeah, basically, okay, so now what I got to do is I got to push all this to the moon. And I figure in and around 1,140 meters per second to go from low Kerbal orbit out to the moon, get a capture, rendezvous with my asteroid. So I got to put on the bottom of this, let me see what I think is going to work here. Let's start with this guy, and let's put a poodle on the bottom. Let's see, whoops, what that does for me. That is only 704. Okay, I need a bigger one than that, don't I? I did make notes to myself. This is a 16. No, I need much bigger than that. I also need this fella. This is going to be a big one. There we go. That's 1,313 meters per second. That's more than enough. It can finish off the top part of the insertion for me as well. Let's, again, change. I like with the Poodle engine, I like this sort of a setup. We'll make them all gray again. I'm in a gray mood. Gray mood. There we go. Nope, nope, nope. That's good. Okay. So that is getting to be like our vehicle that I want to have heading out towards the moon. RCS. It does need to be able to maneuver, so we're going to put on, where are the bigger RCS thrusters? These guys. Yeah, these ones. We'll put, let me think. Let's just slap 4 down here. And then another 4 up here. Where's the center mass? You definitely want to get these sort of. Let's move these ones down. We'll open up RCS build aid, another mod. The really handy thing that this is giving us is the amount of torque that we're generating, because the center of thrust of the RCS blocks is off from the center of mass. So what I can just do is take these and just move them down. That's increasing the torque. Going up. I guess that red thing isn't the center of thrust. Oh, that looks great. Tiny little torque, and that should be the same no matter which way. Yep. Alright, cool. There we go. Okay, yeah, I gotta still figure out that tank configurator. I know I wasn't doing it in the most efficient way, but I'm thinking I don't think this is missing anything. So let's get this ready. This is going to be the OHC, because that's the name of the asteroid fuel barge. So save this. We're going to stick this into orbit. Now this has a mass of 75, almost 76 tons, which is a record. This is the heaviest thing I've tried to lift into orbit as of yet. And one of the things that's really tempting to do, like if I go to my pre-made boosters, if I take a look here, I'll arrange these by mass. These are all boosters I've used in the past, and then I save them. Here is the biggest one I have. It can do, and it's not terrible. And I got started by kind of doing something in the same vein as this. But you know, I've got bigger, better engines since then. So what I thought I would do is build something from scratch that would look a little better. So we're going to need this to be taller. Okay, let's get this thing ready for, we're going to build this fairing. Let's get right in there. Close the fairing. Let's see, 4 size. Up the ejection force. Clamshell deploy. That should be good. Okay. Also, up at the top here, this obviously is not very aerodynamic. So what I think I'm going to do is very simply grab me one of the bigger nose cones. There it is. Put that right on there. Does that have some different? Yeah, it can't go gray. Okay, we'll do that. And then I'm going to put on a pair of separatrons. So the you know, once we get to a certain altitude, 2 will certainly suffice. We'll disconnect this and fire off these separatrons using an action group, and this will go sailing off away from us. Okay, so let's see, C. Just want to kind of tuck these in a little bit. Local. Like that. That looks okay. I think so. Yeah, just leave it like that. That's good. And I don't think, I'm definitely not going to need a lot of fuel. Probably not. Well, actually, you know what I should do? I know what I should do. Is why not just remove the symmetry, reduce this throttle like that, and leave that one the same. And then hopefully this will go off to one side. We'll see how this works. We'll see how this works. Oh, and then while I'm thinking about it, action groups. 5 is always what I use for fairing deploy. So on 5, what we're going to do is we're going to deploy that fairing. We're going to decouple or undock that, and we're going to fire off these separatrons. Activate engine. Activate engine. We'll see how that works. We'll definitely do a little bit of testing. How more silver can it be? None more. I'm just, you say that silver? This feels, okay, maybe. Yeah, silver or gray. I'm going gray. All right, let's build something under this. So let's build ourselves a core booster here. So I'm going to get myself a decoupler. This is, where is the big one? Is it this one? No. That one, the TD. Nope. I can get it eventually. Oh my gosh. There we go. We got a winner. There it is. Underneath that, we're going to put a one of these tanks, and then a jump. Oh, that is not the Jumbo 64 one. So what I'm shooting for typically with a upper stage like this is going to take on some boosters as well, is something in around the 1100 meter per second range, and something with a thrust to weight ratio in and around 1, maybe a little more than 1. And I think what ended up working well for me was sticking a mainsail under that. This is not a light vehicle. Yeah, I think that's working. So a thrust to weight of 1.12 and about 1300 meters per second of delta V there. So that's pretty good. Let me check the staging. Make sure that's not doing anything weird. I'll take this out of the staging altogether. I don't want to see that. And these are the two that are up here at the top, right there. Okay. So that's pretty good. I'm looking for, if I take my 1,140 meters per second for getting to the moon, getting to the asteroid, and another about 3,500 meters. Look how tall this is. I love this. Another 3,500 meters per second for getting into orbit. Total budget of around 4640. So what I'm gonna do now is start to put on some radial boosters onto this. So where are couplers? We'll get a pair of these guys. Put that on snap. And I know this is going to need some oomph-itude. And my most powerful engine that I have is the twin bores still. I got to start unlocking some bigger engines, but this is still my best and most powerful. Slide these down a bit. That's my most powerful option when it comes to and the twin bores are great. They're very versatile. The thing I dislike about them the most is there are no alternate textures for them. They're just exactly what you see, and that is about it. We're going to fire all these engines off at the same time at launch, and we're going to use some asparagus staging so that these boosters will be feeding this tank. So, you know, we'll drain these radio boosters first, and then we'll stage those, and this center core will still be full thanks to those fuel lines that I just put in there. Okay, and then on top of that, we're going to put, again, another pair of Jumbo 64s. And what I got to watch here is my launch thrust to weight ratio. I can't let that get below about 1.33. I'm seeing in the reaction wheels, I don't think this thing's gonna need. There's reaction wheels tucked up here. I don't think it needs anything else. I think otherwise, I think this thing's gonna be fine. There's gimbling on all these engines, not gonna be an issue. So what I want to do is add fuel. I want to get over 4640 meters per second of delta V, but with a thrust to weight under 1.33. And if I can't do that with the stack that I'm making now, I'm gonna have to put on more radial boosters. So I believe what I did next while playing around is I put on a pair of these fellas. We're getting closer, still quite a lot of thrust, and then I put on a pair of these fellas like that, and then I put on these slanty ones. I love these slanty ones for radial boosters, and then you have the slanty nose cones that go right on top of that, like so. And that gives me a total delta V. Oh wait, I'm in Atmos still, sorry. Total delta V of 4,767. I'm not counting the very top because that's just the nose cone taking off. And a thrust to weight still low enough, so this should be getting the job done. So what I want to do is let's get some more We'll start playing with the color scheme here a little bit. I don't know if there's much I can do with the tops, unfortunately. No. Oh, I can make... the black looks funnier. Let's just go with that. Yep. And we'll make this white. And then again, there's nothing I can do with that. Let's slide these down a little further. We're going to definitely have to do some strutting up. This is going to be a wobbly catastrophe if I launched it the way it is right now. Yeah, let's get these grays to line up here. That'll look okay. See how these gray tanks here all line up? That looks good. Okay, I also am going to need to help with separation. Some separatrons. Just a pair. I'm going to line them up right with this line so I can do them the same on both sides. So a pair here. A pair here, pointing the other way. And I have two-way symmetry, so they're popping on the other side as well. And then we will, let's see here. Let's grab it again. Hold, or take off, sorry. Take off the snap here. Oh no, put the snap back on. But hold shift, there's what I'm trying to do. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Lost 1, 2, 3, 4. Tilt them down, and then just do this one with the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should work. Those should be close enough to being paired off. Now, where did they put them? Way down here at the bottom. They got to go here. So all three of these engines go off at the bottom. Then we stage. These separatrons go. We'll put this to a test. Don't you worry about that. And then we're on to this core. This should do it. This should be it. Oh, I want a smart part. The Drain X, that's the one. This is a smart part which detects, you've got smart parts that can detect all kinds of things, but this one detects when we run out of liquid fuel. When we run out of liquid fuel, it'll stage. So it should stage for us automatically, and similarly, put one of those on this stage down here. Okay. Struts. So, one thing I noticed upon testing with this is this joint right here. Although the, oh, hang on. I realized what I did wrong. Whoa, dear. I just simply put a tank right on top of that. I want another docking port. That was silly. I want another docking port and then that on top of that so that this can detach and there'll still be a 2.5 meter docking port here so that we can still. But this joint here, even though the 2.5 meter docking ports are really solid compared to these smaller docking ports, I mean, they're still docking ports. So to stiffen this up, what I found and I needed to do was just to strut like this. A little couple like that. Let's make them white. Yeah. And a couple this way. And then while we're at it with these struts, actually the bottom might be okay. Okay, we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. Well, again, we're going to test this. So, how are we doing? Delta V is still solid. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. And launch thrust to weight is still more than what I need. The mid-stage thrust to weight, a little over 1 is... Oh, that's an Atmo. It's even higher. That's good, good. Launch clamps. Launch clamp here. Launch clamps here. Put them on their own. Put the engines first and then the launch clamps second. That should be good. Let's hit the save button. Let's go down my checklist. This is a probe. It's uncrewed. Fine print, there are no contracts associated with this, so that's cool. Control should be okay. We got reaction wheels up at the top. I mean, it's hardly going to be nippy. There's RCS. Gimbaled engines. The Poodle itself is gimbaled. Should be fine. KOS I've done. Probe configured. Good call. That's why I have the checklist. There's no science this thing needs to do, so if we can find that probe body. There we are. and configure the experiments. We don't want to do any experiments. That saves a little bit of weight, a little bit of money. There we go. There's no science to do. Power generation should be fine. It just has to run communications. Electrical storage is fine. The one battery will be fine. Antenna strength and speed, again, it's just for communications, doesn't matter. Data storage is fine. Propulsion is fine. RCS and propellant, I did that. Parachutes aren't necessary. Thermal protections aren't. Lights! Lights, lights, lights. Gotta get lights. Okay, so I lit up kind of the inside bit of this. So I think that should be okay. Let's take some of our little... Will these dome lights be too big? Oh, they kind of feel funny in the textures. Dome lights might be good. Well, they kind of disappear in the texture around the... It'll look better if I do that. Well, we'll see here. Let's grab... Just pull them out a bit so they're not buried in the texture. And I could use... I'm going to try using these little dome lights. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them kind of amber lights. Let's sneak them into the orange a little bit. Actually, hang on a bit. Here, red, yellow. Go that way. Tilt to the orange, put the blink on, and we'll have them blink every second's cool. That should be fine. Just for some blinky lights. Same thing about here. Just trying to picture this attached to the actual station. Do I want to put more lights than that? You know what? I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that should be good. Okay, I think that should be good. All right, that's all I'm going to do for lighting. I don't think it needs anything else. Lights, upgrades. Yep, I think. Okay, let's look at the Poodle. Poodle engine's going to have to do a lot of work, but it is kind of designed for that. If I look under the reliability, it can do 14 ignitions and run for 5 minutes and 50 seconds. And if I go to high, do I really need it on high? I think 14 should be fine. I think so. We'll keep. It's just got, once it's rendezvoused with the asteroid, then we don't need that anymore. This engine here is probably going to light twice, this mainsail, and the mainsail I know is only designed to light once, so I definitely want to up the standard on that one. So now it can light twice. That does add a bit of weight, but our thrust to weight, our delta V, total delta V is still good. Total delta V is fine. Oh wait, where'd this engine? Oh my gosh, what's going on here? What are you doing to me? This and this. There we go. Yeah, total delta V is fine. Okay, so I think the upgrades are good. Thrust weights. Yeah, a little bit high on the bottom. So we're going to grab this guy, the twin bore, and we're just going to tweak this down. I like a thrust to weight at launch of about 1.33. I get too particular about that, but it's good to. Fairing deploy, I think, is all taken care of on Action Group 5. We should be popping this fairing, releasing the nose cone, and then firing the two Separatrons. Let's put on Action Group 0 deployment of the one antenna. 0 happens when we get into space. Extend that antenna. Actually, here, take that off. Toggle the antenna. That's good. Okay. And staging. Check cool staging is always last. I think this is good. I think this is good. Let's take off the checklist. So there it is. It ain't small. Time to put this to a test. So we're going to do a test. Make sure this works. So we're going to run our KRASH simulator. And we'll just simulate this on the launch pad. We'll see how it goes. And this is easily the tallest rocket I have launched to date. It is, ironically, although it has the highest payload I've launched to date, it isn't the heaviest rocket I launched to date. The rocket that I put up the ARM-1 in was actually a heavier rocket. So it goes to show that this is a better booster design than my previous one. Okay, so let's just get a nice view of this thing. Let's see how this goes. So we're not going to go all the way up. We'll just make sure that it works. There isn't something obvious that I have overlooked. So we'll get our launch script going here. I do like it. I like the scale of it. Oh, it's a little wonky. It's a little wonky. I might need to... it's right here. See that joint? I think I need some more struts to stiffen the whole McJob up. Yeah, this is not acceptable. Okay, let's try this again. So restart the simulation. Or no, terminate the simulation. More struts. More struts. Oops. Close. So as I think I mentioned, I did build this between the streams. To be honest, it was over a week ago I built this, so that's why it's a little bit hazy in my mind. And I gave myself, I printed off an image of it and wrote some notes on that image. So rather than building everything from scratch, I'm hoping that this will save us a little bit of time. So maybe some struts down here. Will that be good enough? It was wonky here. Maybe below here too. Heck, like struts, you can't go wrong with struts. Just to sort of, I think just kind of hold this whole stack together, I think is really what the issue is. Okay. Delta V still fine. Thrust to weight still fine. Those added struts didn't make too much of a difference. Okay, let's start again. Auto strut. Yeah, I could do some auto strutting. You're right. If the physical struts don't work, then I'll go to auto struts. Someone's saying auto struts are cheese. I don't think there's sometimes I've built things where I don't see a way out without using the auto strutting features. Like KSP has some pretty strange. The engineers in the Kerbal Space Center have some pretty weird ideas about welding, I think. Okay, run, launch, 0AN. Let's go. Okay. Again, we're really watching that wobble. Hopefully it is. Oh, it definitely, I think, looks steeper. Let's see once it starts to pitch over. Or stiffer. Now it's oh, yes. I think that's looking much better. Much better. Of course, we're getting that glorious engine sound coming from the waterfall mod, as well as the plumes coming off the engines there. Yeah, I agree. John, it's mentioned in the chat. John mentions that what auto strutting should do is just add a little bit extra mass and a little bit of extra cost, so that it's not a free thing. I agree completely. I think so. But these struts don't add a whole lot of cost and mass either, so, especially with bigger rockets. They don't, you know, compared to the mass of this whole rocket, the mass of these little struts are pretty pitiful. Are the fuel tanks? Yeah, these middle ones are all staying full, which is exactly what they should be doing. Instead, we're draining on these outside tanks. And what happened there? I don't know what happened. Okay, we are... Okay, so, like, for some reason... Oh, dear! We have some out of control boosters. So clearly those separated before they were empty. That's interesting. Okay, let's terminate this simulation. Yeah, I'm getting some asked in the comments about STO. I do have some SSTO videos. I'm not a master of them as well. Like, they just take practice. So stiffness was fine. It was, I'm going to go to this mainsail and I'm going to put on the fuel delivery overlay. Right? So this is showing how all the fuel is being fed. And in particular, what I want to take a look at, P40, P40, P40. Are these numbers here? P40. Because I think the top tank drained before... drained first. What about these tanks? These are 20. See, the flow priority is 20. But the top ones here are 40. Definitely 40. So what it did is it drained all of these tanks before draining the tanks here. Why? I have no idea. Why would it do that? So that should be, they should all be the same number. So this should be a 40. So it drains all of these the same. And then let's make sure all these middle ones are the same. 10, 10, 10. Okay. That was that. So that makes sense. What happened there is it drained all of these upper tanks, and here's where the smart part is. First, and then stay... Okay. Always, no matter how much you get ready, there's always, ahead of time, there's always bugs. Always little kinks that you have to work out. Okay, going again. Try number 3. He says some of those docking sections look a little wonky. They might be. They might be. We'll see. I don't think we're looking at a huge thrust to weight, though, once we get... No, we're not. We're definitely not looking at a huge thrust to weight once we get to the actual payload. So a little wonky might not be bad. We'll see what we get. Okay, third time's a charm. This is the one. So it should be draining that tank, this tank, this tank, this tank. There's a lot of tanks on these boosters, and all of these should be draining now, and they all are. So that should be good. So what is the end goal of the asteroid station? The end goal of the asteroid station is to have a station in orbit around the moon that will have a lander attached to it, fuel reserves, science labs, and whatever other things might generate science, so that we can start to really exploit the science down on the moon. So it's meant to be a base for launching moon missions from. That's the idea of this space station. So that I can put a lander on it, lander go down, collect a pile of science, come back up, or fulfill some contracts, or whatever the case might be. Okay. Again, looking good so far, but hopefully we won't have that same staging mishap. Oh, it just cut thrust, which it does once it's into the upper part of the atmosphere. Once I think it's over 20 kilometers, it does that. Okay, I don't think I got the same problem here. Nope, should be good. So, a little bit before... Yeah, we'll be losing these boosters before we stage. Okay, about to lose the radial boosters. Wonderful. Good stuff, good stuff. Looking good, looking good. Core stage is flying well. Locking onto prograde vector. Next event is going to be at 50 kilometers, where we get fairing stage and this nose cone. I kind of really want to watch this nose cone tear off. I'm hoping it kind of it'll spiral around, but I'm hoping it kind of spirals off to the side. That's the idea here. So again, that's going to happen it should happen at 50 kilometer altitude. So there we go. That's it. That's exactly the idea. Off it goes to the side. That's great. Okay, that worked great. That worked wonderful. Okay, so now we got a very blunt blunt rocket here. And notice we've now lost, for those people that were a little bit concerned about, we've now lost all strutting on these, right? This is now just two docking ports connected together. It seems to be okay. And I mean, it's under more thrust right now than it'll ever be once it's actually in space. Back up here. Alright, so what are we at here? It's not quite 50, yeah. 59 kilometers. Still got quite a bit of burning to do here. Just nerf the sound, I think. I think that's waterfall. Suddenly quieter because the air is thinner. I think it's pretty neat. Alright, alright, alright. Okay, so reached our target apoapsis. Let's just... To be honest, I kind of wish I had a little more thrust. Maybe I shouldn't... Yeah, whatever. I don't want to get into tweaking the launch script. Maybe put a little bit more thrust on the bottom. I think it's a little too... Like I'm... Yeah. Eventually we'll get into space, and then we'll get an idea of what's going on here. I think I might put a little more thrust on the lower stage here so that it's doesn't... It's not quite this shallow, but the actual orbit to circuit... What's our periapsis at? Like, our periapsis is 42 kilometers in the positive, so this will be a nothing burn. Maybe I should just leave it. Leave well enough alone. Okay, here we go. Alright, so it's setting up a 33 meter per second burn to complete its circularization. I'm noticing, and I noticed this on testing as well, and I'm not sure what the deal is here. Notice how it's not... It is not, says here, locking attitude to the burn vector. It's not moving. You see that? It's not even trying to get to the burn vector, which I noticed that on testing between streams. Here, let me abort the program. But if I run my X-Man script, which is basically the exact same script as the second half of the launch, and do that, yet still not going onto the burn vector. Isn't that interesting? I'm not sure what that's about, but it can, just to show you, if I put on SAS, oh, here, SAS, and move it over. It isn't nimble. I'm not going to argue with that. Some more reaction wheels might not be terrible, but it wasn't even trying to pitch over before. So I think I'm going to have to do the actual, this bit of it manually. Either way, I think it's good enough. Let's abort. Let's do this for real. So we are going to terminate our simulation. We're going to do it now. I keep saying for real. It's obviously not for real. But now we're going to do like the in-game. Things blow up. Things blow up. Okay. So again, one more save. Let's get rid of our checklist. And launch. I'm going to leave it. I was talking about upping the thrust on the lower stage, but you know what? It got up there. I'm getting a comment, imagine having computers to fly your rocket for you, but I wrote that script. That's what KOS is. You know, I don't have any scripts that I didn't write. So, and I mean, I'm not saying I didn't, you know, learn things from some other people and incorporate some other people's idea, but that's why I don't feel cheaty doing these automated launches. Run, launch, 0. This one's 1. Fortunately, it's going to look the same. Well, hopefully it'll look the same. If something, as long as something doesn't go wrong, it'll look the same. Oh, I'm seeing in the comments, perhaps turn on SAS on the launcher? Maybe. I think, though, the launch script automatically turns off SAS to have KOS take control. I don't know. We'll work it out. If I have to do it by hand at the end, I have to do it by hand. I'm just kind of curious as to why it even happens. It's kind of weird. Okie dokie. This one's the one. This one's the one. And again, we are on our way with a whole stack of fuel to the moon. That is the whole goal. And then we're going to be shuffling around an asteroid, and then we're going to be sending some Kerbals with some tourists. And by the way, I've already put the Kerbals in space. I did that between the streams as well. The Kerbals are sitting at my station in low Kerbal orbit, the WKMSS, and they're just waiting. They're just waiting for their opportunity once that asteroid is in the orbit that I want to fly on up there and fulfill that tourist contract. Well, you're very welcome, IT Help, thanking me for the content. I wouldn't do it if I wasn't having fun doing it. That's for sure. Perhaps turn on RCS. That's a good check too. I'll try that, John, in the chat. I'll try when this thing is in space, putting on RCS and seeing if that helps. Okay, so once again, I'm looking at my launch. I don't know. I shouldn't get into tweaking the launch scripts. Right now, it's got a thrust to weight of 1.1. I'll point out something once it gets to it. Okay, and then it actually ups the throttle here and still keeps the thrust to weight. Oh, but now it's putting the thrust to weight to 0.9. And what I'm thinking about, why make that change at all? Why not just leave it at 1.1? That'd be an easy change for me to make on the script. It's just changing one of the parameters. It's at the top of the program. Because I think this thing would do better with a little more thrust right now. But whatever. Like if I was flying this, I would apply a little bit more thrust because I can see our apoapsis getting closer to us. And I don't like that. There we go. This thing will be easier to maneuver as well once we lose, like, this whole business on the bottom. That doesn't help. Maybe the script is just looking, you want me to adjust the attitude with just the puny reaction wheels you have in there? This got a point. I should have put bigger reaction wheels in here. I'm someone I know, I probably, compared to most people who play this game, am really weak when I put on my reaction wheels. I tend to underdo it rather than overdo it. I think subconsciously I'm doing that because the reaction wheels in KSP are ridiculously overpowered. So I think I'm just overly cognizant of having vessels being too nippy and too easy to, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I do. Because I know you could just put on a ton of reaction wheels and just... This thing will never lose control. But what fun is that? Okay, again, we've reached our target apoapsis. Let's time warp up into space. Being asked, is the trouble of writing the scripts worth it? It all depends on how much fun you have writing scripts. That's really what it comes down to it. I gotta be honest though, if you enjoy KSP and you would love to learn programming, doing some Google or some searching on YouTube on how to, you know, some KOS for beginners. There are some excellent videos out there. It is a great introduction into coding if you ever wanted to get into it, for those people that have never done it before. Coding isn't so much about finding the right language to do, it's about finding the right project that you care about. So once again, notice this says locking on, but it's not even like, look at the roll pitch in that, so it's not doing anything. If I put on SAS, oh, look at that. It's rolling. Well, that's weird. And now it's doing it. A lot of roly-poly happening around. I don't know why the roly-poly stuff. I don't think... I'm getting a warning out here. See, look, please turn one of them off. Either turn off KOS or turn off SAS. But now it's got no control, right? RCS? Oh. I don't want to end up using all my monopropellant with this nonsense. I really feel like wrestling control away from it. Don't waste all my monopropellant, you. Oh, that seems to be doing it. There was a message up here from KOS saying, don't turn on SAS when I'm trying to do stuff. But you weren't trying to do stuff, so I'm not quite sure. But then again now... Let's turn this off. Now at least it's trying. So now I have both RCS and SAS off, but now it's at least, you can see the pitch controls and yaw controls and stuff. It's at least trying to control it. Very weird. Should I trust it? Noticing it's a very... Oh no, 33 meter per second burn, 174 in the can still, in the vessel. Okay, I think it's okay. Seems to be all right. Okay, I'm going to time warp right. I'm waiting for this to get on there. Time warp. There's a cheat for you. Time warp freeze. Just getting close to the burn. This is sweet, though, because there's still going to be about 140 meters per second left in this booster. I was honestly expecting this to go dry, and because this has more fuel than I need in it. I was expecting this to go dry during this burn, but it's not going to. All right. This is just a great big giant cylinder, isn't it? Well, that's a punch. That was a punch in the gut there. Ooh, got 100,000 Kerbucks for my massive lunch. All right, I'm good with this. Program's ended. Let's stick this onto the normal vector, just for these little bitty solar panels. And let's plot. Oh, let's get rid of all of this nonsense. Let's plot a course to the moon here. Ooh, looks like we're coming up to it. There we are. Focus our view on the moon. Oh, I'm going to have to put on this one. That is our asteroid right there. Whoops. I need to give a little bit more juice. So now you can start to see the kind of dopey orbit it's in. Just pushing out the time as far as this. Wow. Okay, we can bring this back a lot. Come on back. Pushing that out about as far as it will go, and then start bringing that in. And I just want the periapsis underneath. About there. That'll do. That'll do. We'll obviously have to do a correction. I am coming the right way, right? This is going around this way, and we're coming in and going around the same way. That's the worst case scenario, is to come on the wrong side of the moon. Okay, so that burn's only coming up in 3 minutes, and I think I am going to do this one manually because there's 145 meters per second left in our booster here, and then we're going to have to go on to this stage, and I know that my script doesn't handle staging mid-burn very well when executing a maneuver, so I think we'll be doing this one manual-like. So I'm just going to get it onto this. Still don't have the probe body that gives you the, you know, all of the SAS functions yet. Still got a couple of minutes here, so I can, not going to be a problem. And then I think lugging this thing around will be easier once this is off. Just realized too, I could have snuck a probe body into this on some reaction wheels, detached it and deorbited it, but you know what, we're going to use it, and then what we're going to do is I'll just delete the debris later. Can't be completely obsessive about not having to, you know. Apollo left lots of stages flying around when it went to the moon. Okay. Get ourselves a little closer here. So, according to this, it is a 3 minute and 25 second burn. There's a lot of thrust on this low. I think I might start a little early because I think my thrust to weight on the lower. Oh no, 1.65 is not bad. I was worried there was a lot of thrust on this lower stage, but it's okay. But the thrust to weight drops a lot when we get down to our the actual payload part of this. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. There we go. Look at that. Okay, gotta get ready to stage. There we are. I had to stage twice. Now we're just on the little poodle. Do the rest of this. See, my rationale is anything that's in low orbit, or at least has part of, like, its periapsis is still below 80 kilometers. So my rationale is that that would eventually decay anyway. Because stuff in low orbit about Earth will eventually decay as well. Because there's still a bit of atmosphere in real life, and it puts drag on the vessels. Okay. Here we're doing pretty good. Wish I could just lock it onto that maneuver node, but I can't. No sound transmission. There is. This engine's super quiet. I'm not sure I hear anything either. I don't know why I'm putting it right in the screen. I was literally sitting there like trying to put it to my ear. But I don't think it really, I don't think that engine has almost no sound to it. There is a bit of music. I don't know if people can hear the music. It's not the loudest part of the music, that's for sure. The music in KSP, I find, has a crazy range and volume. No, it's the engine, I think. The engine, I'm sure you can't hear. I can't hear it. Oh my gosh. Because I'm still, like, steering a bit, I don't know if I want to... Can we physics warp a little bit? Yeah, but then I gotta... I want to keep it on this little node. I can't lock to it, so... Just have to put up with it. How much more do we got? We got about 50 seconds still to go. I like this version of the Poodle rather than the non-restock version of the Poodle. I like that single big cone. Though it's an awkward... you wouldn't want it in that mode, though, for if you had it as a landing engine on some big lander, though. So I can see why. I like having the two different ones. Okay, closing in. Closing in on the end. Pretty good. Maybe some RCS puff stuff. Well, I don't know. Nah, I'm perfectly happy with that. I have no issues with that. Okay. Again, we'll put this, just point it normal. That's just for the solar panel. Oh, whoa, RCS is still on. Oops. I've used up a lot of that monopropellant. Oh my gosh, how long? Okay, at some point I'll go back and look at the video and look at how long did I have that RCS on for. So I'm looking here. I've used up about a quarter of my monopropellant. Oh well. Some of that's really meant to resupply this, but oh well. Okay, correction burn time. Oh, that's obviously just too much. Wow. Why is... Let's try that again. Okay. So I'm going to need a little bit of radial inness, I think, to bring it this way. Yeah. A little bit up that way. If you actually select this as a target, it helps a little. A little up. A little in. That's looking pretty good. It's looking to just come in and just touch the orbit there. Got about a 14.5 degree difference. I could come up more and bring that periapsis up more. Maybe that's not stupid. But then it increases the amount of that angle. Yeah, no, I'll just leave it the way it is. It's good. It's good. That's fine. I'm fine. Stop playing. Alright, so that burn's coming up in 1 hour and 42 minutes. This is nicely locked. We're going to quick save. Okay, and let's get out there. Point this on here. we'll watch it from here. I don't have to wait for the time to come down to 0. It's not that time sensitive, so we'll just get it on there. Just a little bit of thrust. Don't need a lot. There you go. And blink. More than happy with that. Okay. Let's get ourselves to the moon. Alarm clock. Set up an alarm for that sphere of influence change. Let's get out there. This thing's nimble enough now, I think. I think so. And all of this fuel should still be full, right? Yes, definitely. Okay, so we are now in the moon's SOI, so we're going to have to do this in a few different stages, I think. I'm fine with the way the trajectory is coming in. I don't... Oh, no, I can see... Whoa, oh, I'm still on. Let's point this radially in. I can still see it's You would want the two orbits touching, and I can see they're a little off from each other there. So we're just going to point this radially inwards and probably just use a couple of puffs of RCS to fix that up. Get right there so that the ascending node indicator and that close approach indicator are pretty much in the same place. And now, got to do this in a couple of stages. So stage 1 is just to get a big elliptical orbit, like so. And let's see, let's look at the time of this. More out. And then we're going to make a plane change. That should be good. So we'll just do that. There's no meaning behind that at all. So we're going to make a plane change out here, where it's going to be cheaper. But honestly, that should be pretty much it. Let's get rid of alarm clock. Is this me, or does it feel like it's upside down? Oh, it's retrograde. I always get that. I hate being retrograde. Oh, wait, it's fine. I'm sure electrically... Let's get this. Yeah, perpetual electric charge, it's fine. Okay, we're going to still... So we got a 22-second burn coming up. We're going to run... Get our KOS script out again. This is one that this guy can handle. Okay, let's get down there, though. I hate retrograde orbits. Okay. We'll run our maneuver executor here. Pointing itself fine. It is Johann Sebastian Bach's birthday. Nice. Oh boy. I'm going to have to put on RCS here. Next time, stop more than a minute ahead. Are you overdoing... Oh, you stinker. And you overdid it. This is why I have hardly any monoprop left. Oh, no. I am out of control. Okay. Okay, the engine's gonna fire. Now it's on there. So to explain what happened there is, like, I realized that the reaction wheels were getting it around too slow, so I put on the RCS, and it was way overusing the monopropellant. Oh my gosh, I've used up over half my monopropellant. I'm really annoyed about that. So then I put on SAS and assumed control, and then KOS started fighting with the SAS. Long story short, we're there. We got our capture. It's okay. All right, let's try this again. So out here we're going to do our, put it right on the descending node if I can. And we're going to match planes with our target here. So I want to match planes. Put it up to 1 meter. There we go. So, whoops, that's the wrong way. So I want to match planes to get this inclination difference as low as I can, but I also want to keep the orbits touching. So you kind of got to do both here. Whoops, that was a little too much. Use that. Let's see. A little prograde. A little normal. A little prograde. There we go. There's a 0. I'm happy with that. Can't complain about an inclination difference of 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do is more or less point this in the direction I think it needs to be. Was it? I've already forgotten. Why is it not letting me? Oh, because it's got to be a map view to see the maneuvers, silly. There we go. What is this mostly? It's mostly positive normal. So what I'm going to do here is put this on positive normal so it'll be pointing the right direction before this even gets started. Maybe I should just do this manually. So I'm doing this with a lot of efficiency when it comes to the fuel, but not much efficiency when it comes to the monopropellant. I've burned through a lot of it. That is annoying. Do another save here. Okay, I'm going to time warp manually rather than... Okay, it's pretty good. Watch this from map view. So the whole plan here, we'll get it off the normal vector. I'm going to do this manually because burning too much monopropellant otherwise. Okay, there we go. So we're just going to match planes here. Hopefully everybody can kind of see what's happening, and then we'll set up our rendezvous. Start early and go to about half throttle. How'd we do? How'd we do? How'd we do? 0.0. Excelente. Okay. So that is good. Now we will set up a rendezvous. So what we want to do is adjust our period. Now notice as I'm moving the period how this isn't moving. And that just means that I need to move the orbit a little bit more into the future. There, until they jump. And now if I move this, we should see the, yeah, those that go round and round. And we want to get as small an orbit as we can and still get a rendezvous. So I think I can get one. I think I can get one more, but I think this is going to be it here. Yeah. Okay. And we'll get this closest approach as small as we can. Really small. All right, under a kilometer closest approach. I saw 0.8. That's fine. That's fine. And the reason why you like to get this as small as you can is because that will make your encounter speed not so heavy. So what we're going to do is we're going to be coming down here. We're going to make a berm. We're going to be putting into this orbit. We'll go around one more time, and then we'll be saying hello to our asteroid. Okay, I'm going to F5 again. Let's try this time doing this manual-like. Let's try that. So here we go. How many ignitions do I still got on this? 10 more ignitions still, so we're fine. Hello there, mech builder. I'm getting the question, does KOS get updates? I'm not sure when's the last time KOS got updated. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look into that. It's pretty functional as is. But whether it's still actively being worked on or not, I don't know. Okay, so getting it onto here. I'm going to put this onto here so we can keep track of our closest approach. Come on to there. That's it. Honestly, I might just... Oh, I was still locked on anti-normal here. I'm just going to lock it to retrograde. It's close enough. It's close enough. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. The quiet poodle engine. And at some point, we should be starting to see a closest approach information popping up here that's actually useful. There we go. Coming down nicely now. Reduce our throttle here. Okay. Close that. Should be able, yeah, use just some yeah. Reluctantly using monopropellant. So 818 meter per second closest approach there. Okay. We're going to be saying hi to the station in 1 hour and 5 minutes. I'm getting the question, what changes do you think will happen in KSP 2 for those people that have trouble with orbital mechanics, which quite frankly is completely understandable. This game does very little hand-holding. It could probably do more when it comes to teaching you stuff, and of course I have no insight whatsoever into what's going on really with KSP 2 that not everybody has, just from their own press releases, but they have explicitly said that they will be doing, hand-holding's not the right word, but they will be doing definite tutorials to help people understand, not just how to do things, but understand how to do things. They'll be doing that in the KSP2 game. They'll be doing a lot more of that, because I think it's important to not just, sorry, I should be time warping a little more, not just know how to do something. Like, you can go out and find a video and say, this is how to do a rendezvous, do this, this. But then you find yourselves in situations like I got right here, and without understanding how the orbital mechanics actually works, when you find yourself into an unusual situation, it becomes really difficult to figure that out if you don't understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Okay, we're about 3.5 minutes away from our asteroid. Right here. A little bit wobbly, I'm noticing it as it's coming around, but that's okay. That should be fine. Coming in behind it here. Get ourselves a little closer and we'll start slowing down. Our approach speed is not very high. It's only about 26 meters per second. So that makes life easier. Okay. But I'm noticing my retrograde vector is drifting away from my target icon, so we're going to Do a little push it back that way type of thing. Actually can see the asteroid now. Oh, I'm overdoing it. My distance is actually worse now. Let's time warp, get ourselves a little closer and judge this better. Yeah, we're missing by a fair bit. Let's really start slowing down. We got a lot of speed here. That's much better. I think I was getting some strange numbers here. Wasn't agreeing with what my eyeballs. They agree now, though. All right, then we're going to have to do some asteroid shoving. And I have in no way done anything to sort of prepare myself for that. So we'll just have to see how that goes. So, just kind of reducing velocity. I'm not seeing my docking hub, which means that it is on the other side. Right now I just want to slow myself down. We got about a minute to go. We're missing by only about 16 meters. So let's just push this a little bit. I want to come above it. Push just a little bit this way. I'm going to watch these ignitions. Maybe I should have... Oh, well, whatever. One point, there'll be a Kerbal on this. I'll have a Kerbal up here, and we can get an engineer to service that engine. Okay. I think we're now coming above it. There has got to be a docking hub on the other side. There it is. So, to be honest, what I should do is grab that right now, set that as a target. Very good. So there's our target. It's not really the asteroid, but that one docking port. Control this from here. Hopefully I can do this without using a whole lot of monopropellant. That's going to be the goal. Okay. Slow down. Okay, we're at about half a meter per second. Time to get down there and dock. So I got the little red icon here. That's coming from docking alignment indicator to help me line up the docking ports. I do need to get down there, don't I? Okay, so RCS on. Let's no, this way. Nope, this way. This way we gotta go. That's getting us going in the right direction. If I run out of monopropellant, then I'm really in trouble. Aim our camera up here at the top. I can see the target icon. I think it's moving in the right direction. Another puff. Ah, now I can see just the beginnings of the prograde icon there. So just kind of follow as this target icon gets closer. Just keep following with the prograde behind it. Should get me right onto the docking port. So what am I down to? I've used up, oh my gosh, pretty close to 3/4 of the available RCS. That stinks. That I brought up here. I'm disappointed with myself. So I was hoping this was going to be an RCS reserve. The idea of this was not just that this was here for us to use, but it was there for us to put up as a reserve supply. Okay, there we go. Whatever, it's done now. Okay, so we got ourselves a great big giant fuel tank. So what we want to do, we're going to unlock these guys. Because I want the fuel. I want that fuel. And we're going to... actually, let's use TAC fuel balancer. Liquid fuel. Go away. I don't need your help. I don't know why I pushed that. Alright, so... I got a lot of Jumbo 64s. Which Jumbo 64 is the one I'm interested in? Let's highlight one. That's the one I'm interested in. So, tank number 1. So, 1. In. So, we're now filling up our arm 1. And we got to move this orbit. You can see this camera shifting. Oh, that's also because of time warping. But yeah, you can see this thing shifting over as the center of what mass moves with all of that fuel. Okay, that's good. And RCS. We'll steal what we got. Not a lot. I'm annoyed. What can you do? Okay. So this thing has been pretty much drained. I think... Let me think about this. Let's get this out of the way. How much fuel's left in here? There's oxidizer in there, but no fuel. You know what? We'll leave that on there. Oh my gosh. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this right now. So we're going to put in a teeny amount of fuel. We're going to get rid of this little barge bit. And because it's just extra mass for us to shove around. So what we're going to do is come to here. Where is there no fuel on that? Did I take all of it? I might have. Vessel number. Oh, there's still fuel in this. That makes sense. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of this fuel reserve. Just a little bit of it. That makes sense. So there's fuel in this reserve still. So take a little bit of fuel. That's enough. Just going to detach this thing and deorbit it. I don't want it. It's just more mass for us. So we're going to go to here. We're going to undock it. Come back to here. This has no monopropellant left, right? Nope. But we're going to spin it around in a retrograde direction. There we go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. Where is our periapsis there? Okay, we are now crashing into the moon, so back we go. Okay, next step is I want to start pushing with this vessel here. This vessel's all fueled up, but it needs to be targeting the center of mass of this asteroid. And I think the best plan for that, because there's a lot of mass in this, is to come, as best I can, directly opposite to it. So like around where this bump is. I think that'll make it easier to push. So I'm going to take this and actually, I'm going to quick save is what I'm going to do in case I really mess this up. And we're going to grab this and we're going to... Is it disarm? I guess it's disarm, isn't it? Disarm. Okay. And we're going to put on RCS. I'm going to back... Whoa, I pushed M. Yep. Oh, and somehow... Okay, I'm going to time warp because things are twirling. And I've noticed these guys, this thing has no lights. Okay, and I really got to be cognizant of monopropellant. So, what is... Oops, RCS already. I'm trying to... Okay, I'm trying to decide. I think this is the dorsal side with this... I want to... Okay, so if I go this way. Aim our camera up here. So the whole plan here is to bring it around to about this, like opposite to this, which I figure's around where this bump is. But I really want to do it using the minimum amount of monopropellant because I don't have a lot. I'm using my eyeballs more than anything. Okay. Back away a little bit. A little bit this way. I'm noticing these are disabled. I think that makes some sense, but it seems to be working fine anyway. Oh, I got some up here too. These are probably not disabled. Where's that? Disable that RCS. These I don't want weird blocks doing weird things for me. Disable that. Disable that. Oh my gosh, where is it here? Disable that one. And then probably enable. I noticed these weren't working. Oh, they are enabled. Okay. Oh no, that's to enable it, right? No, it's enabled. Okay. All right, are we going in the right direction? That's the key. Not quite yet. Okay, so R. I'm just not seeing anything coming out of these. Are there... Oh, the thrust limiters are down to 0. That's weird. Okay. I'm sure I had a reason for that, but I don't know what it was. Actually, I think I do. Probably while I was lugging the asteroid around, I probably didn't want these guys here doing anything. Would have made more sense too. So I can see a nice line here between the center of mass and that retrograde vector. I think that's a good sign. But I'm thinking once this is lined up with the center of mass, I'm just going to go forward. I'm hoping that's right around where this bump is. We'll see. And it's certainly not beyond the realm of reason that I'm gonna mess this up. There we go. That's looking okay. You do want to be going through the center of mass of whatever it is that you're hooking onto. Or else you'll have trouble going in a straight line. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually adjust my attitude here a bit, because I think I want to come more this way. Yeah, a little more this way. I want to be right on that. I don't know why. I want to be right on that bump. Forward. Forward. And I've always noticed you need to hit with a little bit of velocity to get that arm to really engage. I've done it where I've connected too slowly. Okay. We'll live with that. It's through the center of mass. That's the most important thing. Now there is a little pivot on here. Ooh, auto strut. Let's not fiddle with auto strut just yet. There is a pivot. Free the pivot. Take RCS off. You can now adjust. Is it? I did say free the pivot, or maybe that locked the pivot. Whoa, 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 whoa. No. Oh, why am I wobbling so bad? I don't like that. Stop it. Why are you doing that? I don't like what's happening right now. I should. Oh, okay. I have my controls backwards. I should be able to. Is this still targeting the center of mass? Target the center of mass. What happened here? Free pivot. Okay. There we go. I don't like how wobbly everything is. Oh my gosh. Trying to get it right onto this. That's pretty good. I just hit lock pivot. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. We'll see how this is like. Okay. I'm living with what I got. I'm living with what I got. Hopefully this will hopefully this will work for me. Oh, this is the little probe that's crashing. That's fine. Okay, we want to put ourselves into an orbit about Kerbin with a periapsis. I want to put myself into a big elliptical orbit around Kerbin with a periapsis around into low space. So around, oh, I guess 120 would work well because that's what the station is. And that will help facilitate a rendezvous with you. That's the whole idea. So it's like, if I set the stations back up again, it's like I'm trying to set up a burn to rendezvous with the station, but the burn's going to be the other way. I'm hoping that makes some sense, what I just said there. Because it's going to be somebody from the station that's going to rendezvous with the asteroid. Okay. And I also want, I don't want to come in like on a really inclined orbit. What if I set, is this the station? Nope, this is the station. Set that as a target. Okay. Keep an eye on that. Boink. Come back. There we go. So about 120, but with a minimal inclination difference, because that will make life easier. That makes inclination worse. That's all making inclination better. Okay, a little more prograde. A lot more prograde. Nope. Down to just 1 second jumps here. That's pretty good. It's a 0.7 degree difference. So the idea being, not quite, yeah, a little bit forward. A little bit more prograde there. That's pretty good. I'm fine with that. So I'm not going to rendezvous with the station, but this orbit will facilitate me coming from the station and rendezvousing with it. Now this burn's coming up in 41 minutes, and this is honestly going to be the sketchiest part of this entire operation. Is going to be, let's turn off these reaction wheels again. Okay, do I have to do them all individually? Yep. Why does it have to do that? Because I might need them for attitude control. But I don't have a lot of monopropellant, so we'll see what happens. Where is disable RCS? Okay. All right. Quick save because I'm nervous. Okay, let's start time warping. And then at some point in the future, we'll come back to the moon. We'll keep it in that big elliptical orbit. At one point, it will come back to the moon again. And then we'll put this in the polar orbit that we want. I might be making my life way more complicated than what it needs to be. Okay, I'm going to hook this onto prograde. How does this thing spinning around for me? Little wobblies. Yeah, I got to expect that, don't I? Oh my gosh, what a pile of nonsense this is. What a pile of nonsense indeed. And as this is the last episode of this series, I am probably going to go a little long. I'm looking at the time. So I'm at about 1 hour and 48 minutes into the stream. But I really want to do the rendezvous. I really want to complete that one contract. So I'm going to go until that happens or I fail miserably. And which of those is going to happen first, I don't know. Okay, we're coming close to this. I'm going to do a little time warp. Ah, geez, the time warp sheet really got some crazy whiplash action happening there. Oh my gosh, I am so not confident about this. Yeah, a lot of the wobbling is coming from right here. This joint, the docking ports. Of course they are. And if I had an engineer aboard, we could do some strutting across there. That would probably, you know what? Why don't I just auto strut? we're gonna auto strut to the heaviest part. Auto strut this to the heaviest part, which has to be the asteroid. And you know what else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna auto strut here to the heaviest part. That will probably help. That's made things stiffer. I just want to remember to un-auto strut it later. So yeah, this will be the end of Space Society, and then I'll come up with a name for the next series. They're always in batches of 9. That's something I just got. It just chunks them up nicely. What I'll call the next one, I don't know. And even Space Society is pretty generic. I just honestly didn't know what else to call it. Okay, we're coming in here. I'm going to start the burn now. I'm about 20 seconds from the burn. Oh my gosh, this ain't bad. Oh my gosh. I am at like 80% throttle. And like that auto strutting did the trick. I just want to remember to un-auto strut. I started to burn a little early because I was worried I wasn't going to be able to go to full throttle, but now I'm like, I don't know. Okay, now I think I can go through full throttle. There we go. I'm shocked. My hands are away from the keyboard right now. And it's just, you know, it's not locked onto anything. It's just not drifting, which is... I honestly had no expectation it would go as well as what it's doing right now. Absolutely none. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. Now, we haven't quite left the moon's SOI yet. But that's okay. And we'll be able to collect asteroid samples in high space around Kerbin and in low space around Kerbin. So it'll be a little bit more science for us to get. Now this is a spaceship. Oh, there we go. We must have just exited. We are leaving the moon, but we'll be back. Okay, here we go. I want that at about 122 kilometers. Well, let's get up here. Drifting off of this. Notice I'm chasing the maneuver node here. Came off of it a little bit. Okay, let's reduce throttle. About 122, I said. Oh my gosh. I am so pleased with that. You have no idea how pleased I am with that. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to rotate this for the solar panels. And then I do want to take the auto strutting off. I don't know. This thing actually has been auto strutted for a long time, but I've had some funny glitches with auto strutting. And I would prefer... So I'm just going to time warp this. There we go. We'll take those auto struts that I just did off. So this is no longer on the... Oh, as soon as you do that, look at that. You get the wobble happening. And auto strut this off. And auto strut this off. And who knows? We're going to have an engineer here soon. Sorry, it went wonky there. Maybe we'll put some more big... Like, you see how there's these struts here? Maybe we'll... construct some more. I don't know. We'll think about it. But to be honest, I'm really happy with this. Let's set up an alarm for the SOI change. It's coming up in an hour, and then we're gonna let's go meet our Kerbals. Okay, watch. Okay, electricity is doing well. I do want to make sure this doesn't run out of electric charge. Bye moon. Bye moon. And every time the time warping ends or starts, we get this thing happening. So we are going to have to come up with some sort of solution to that bounciness. But I kind of like using the physical struts. So if it gives me an excuse to put an engineer out here, we'll come up with something. Okay. Let's see. Let's time warp out of the SOI. Oh dear. Already. Oh, no, it's back. That's just freaking me out. Still not. No, we're not out yet. Almost. Okay. Okay, we just switched SOI, so let's get back to map view. Switch ourselves to the WKMS. I can switch to target right here. There we go. And here are our Kerbals. Eventually. There we go. So our sort of main crew here, pilot Alec P. Kerman, Lieutenant Alec P. Kerman, engineer Stephen L. Kerman, scientist Mac the G. Kerman, and then some 3 very familiar tourists that have already been in orbit around the moon, already visited the asteroid there, but are saying that ain't good enough. We want to do better. So what we're doing is we are going to leave here now. I think I charged this all. I did. I'm pretty sure. Let's just, you know what? They should be in there, right? Here, let's put on the little, I think I remember putting them all in here. Oh yeah. They're all stacked up. They're all ready to go. Yeah, let's go. We're just going to leave. So we're going to undock right now. And we're going to go find that asteroid. Back away from the station. I should have, if I toggle now, I should have some RCS control, right? Or that toggle my reaction wheels? Yes, it did. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay, so we're backing away from the station. So here's the whole plan. We're going to target this. Set the target. And the easiest place to make the rendezvous in this sort of situation where you're like in this low circular orbit and this guy's in this big elliptical orbit, the easiest is to set up your rendezvous down here at periapsis. Now I can see, actually let's delete this guy for just a second. Go away. I got too much junk happening there. Let's just put this on the maneuver. Do it that way. Okay. There's too many toggles. Too much stuff. There we go. I think I should be able to make this work just the way it is. Okay, let's just do this. So, add a maneuver. We're going to go prograde. Again, oh, no, notice how that one's starting to move. Right? So what we want to do is just come out enough for that. We may have to do a few orbits. Now I'm thinking, yeah. Let's think about this. Let's put it, oh wait, let's look at our radiation belts. There's a good start. So we don't end up cooking these guys. Start this again. So what we'll do is we'll put our apoapsis out past our radiation belts. So we're going to be, well, yeah, I just don't want my encounter speed to be ridiculously huge. That's what I'm more concerned with. I know what to, okay. I'm way overthinking this. I shouldn't have undocked. That's what I should have done. Let's dock again. We gotta wait for the thing to come closer, of course. Well, oh, no. No. Okay. Back to plan A. push this out. So the apoapsis is out past our radiation belts. That's better. And then what we're going to do is put a maneuver here, dummy maneuver. And then we're going to push that second maneuver up in orbit and see what that does to our close encounter indicators. Is it? Oh, wait, up in orbit. There we go. That moved it to the other side. So let's go back to the first one. That's making it worse. There we are. There we are. We had it. We had it. Okay, let's take off the radiation stuff. I'm making this way more complicated than it really should be. Okay, it's getting close. There's our one. Where's our other intersect McThing? I see these purple guys. I don't see the matching one for this orange one, which has got me a little bit confused. So we'll just use these purple ones. Fine, we'll meet out here. I'm perfectly cool with that. There, we got a closest approach of about... Oh, that's because of our inclination difference. You know what? I'm sure I can make that work. And we're outside of the radiation zones at our apoapsis where we're moving the slowest. I'm sure we can make this work. Okay, so let's do this burn. So this burn's coming up in 17 minutes. It's going to be prograde. So let's right now do our avoidance maneuver. So that means pointing retrograde, which drives us right back into here. So let's RCS and let's throttle up a bit. Activate this engine. Lots of ignitions. 10? Maybe we'll get Steven out there to take a look at that. See if he can improve on that. Well, just avoiding the station is always a good idea. This is an episode. Okay, and then we're going to burn a little retrograde. Just to lower that down. That should be enough. Okay. This is full. Okay, let's get Steven out. I don't like just the 10 ignitions. I should have done this first, but we're going to do it right now. And by the way, these guys are all good. Lots of food. Yes, we're good. We're good. Okay, EVA. Steven here. He's going to service that engine. Make sure it's in tip-top condition. Inspecting the engine, applying duct tape, and engine is serviced. Okay, we tighten some loose screws. Back you go. And board. And now this has 25 ignitions. Much, much better. Okay. Let's get ready to get out of here. A little bit of a longer stream than normal, but that's not bad. Okay. So now, because of our little use of RCS, we're burning away from the station. Glad I finally got in the habit of doing that. Okay. Actually, let's use KOS. You. Run that Xman script. Okay, so bye. We're off. I don't think any of these folks are going to get any experience from any of this. No, they've all been in orbit about Kerbin many times before. Alright, and we're going to do a little bit of physics warping. Speed this 2 minutes and 30-something second burn up. There's a noticeable hop in frame rate once we're outside of the rendering of that station. Here, let's go to 3 times. Get this done. All the work I've done with this ship, I've done a ton of work with this ship, and I've only brought up one shipment of fuel for it. There's one fuel barge that I put on the station quite some time ago, and this thing has been working off of its fuel ever since. Whoa, 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 what am I doing here? Oh, it's, oh my gosh. I'm taking control of it when it's, oh. Getting punchy. I'm like trying to take control of the vessel. It's like, no, KOS has control of the vessel. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, here we go. All right. So burn's complete. Let's see what kind of orbit we got here. So we have ourselves as now our inclination difference is a little bit. So let's, we'll fix that. We're going to make a little burn out here at our ascending node. I do want to zero out our inclination. That's the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so that is just a 13 meter per second burn coming up in 39 minutes. Let's just do it now. We'll get this for solar panels. Crossing through radiation belts. Actually, let's put this on so we can watch their stats. And then we'll look at figuring out this rendezvous. Okay. Pointing this way. And we're going to have to watch this from here. See, this is a pure anti-normal burn, so. Let's do it. Alright, so what is our inclination now? 0.1, little RCS, I bet you, there we go, zeroed it out, that's fine. Okay, so that is good, that's good, that's good. Let's see if we can not facilitate ourselves a rendezvous with our asteroid. That is the whole plan here, so adding in a maneuver. down here. Actually, no. We're going to move this maneuver forward in time. We're going... Well, now that I'm looking at this, look at... We're already coming pretty close. I might just kind of go for it. See how these guys... This might not really part of the original plan, but move this out of the way. See how we're already got these purple ones close to each other? Let's try and go for it right here. So... Whoops. There. That's the wrong way. Tiny burn. It's going to be a high encounter speed, but we can deal. We can deal. There. Got a 400 separation coming up in a day and a half if I do this tiny little burn back here at periapsis. So let's go do that. And I'm going to do a bit of a quick save. Put this on prograde. I want to find me an asteroid. There's an asteroid out there for us somewhere. Okay, again, quick save. Let's get down to this little burn. So we dive in and out of radiation belts. I do want to kind of keep an eye on that, but I think they're going to be okay. It's the whole reason why I put my apoapsis as high as I did. Okay, so this is it a prograde burn? Looks like, no, it's going to be a retrograde burn. Okay, what is going on here? I got this. There's no way that burn's right. Which way is this burn going? Prograde? Okay, this is... Okay, it wasn't 0.7 just a moment ago. I'm not sure what's up with that. Now it's making sense. Wasn't making sense just a moment ago. But it's making sense now. We're just going to do this with RCS. Okay, I think this... No, I think we're good. Okay, let's see. More RCS? Oh, I turned off the RCS. There we go. A little more. There we go. 500 meters separation. 125 meter per second approach speed, but that's okay. So we're going to go around one more time. But as we come around, we should be finding our asteroid. Okay, so F5. And da-da-da-da. Alarm clock. Add an alarm for this. Give us 5 minutes warning because I think we're going to need it. We can watch this from here. I think we'll have a... Oh, no. Okay, we're going to have to... I should have realized this is going to come. But, okay, here it comes. We're meeting with it. But then on our way back out, it's encountering the moon again. So I think once we meet, what we might want to make as our first job is to get this apoapsis down so that that doesn't happen. Okay, but one thing at a time. I should have seen that coming. I thought I would be able to get away with a bit more before I had to do that. Okay, either way, should be good. So we're going to time warp. I think we're doing one more of these. No, maybe two more of those. Okay. Oh, no, one more. There it goes. We're meeting with it up. It's working. Okay, delete the the alarm. Don't need alarm clock anymore. We're going to put this on target, and we're going to put that on retrograde, and we do have to think about slowing down. And then avoiding that. Well, maybe we don't want to avoid that. Maybe that's exactly what we need. Oh, hang on. I might be able to make it one thing at a time. Let's not get carried away. Okay. We're about 62 kilometers away. I think we're okay for now. Again, I'm getting paranoid because whenever I play for a few hours in a row, I start to get a little punchy. So we'll get ourselves a little closer. Okay, we're about 2.5 minutes away. I think it'd be a good time to really start slowing down. So let's throttle up. As long as I can push this time away from us, like make this time longer, we're okay. In fact, I can tell I can get closer than I am. Yeah, let's get a little closer. Always the time to your intersect. If you can still push that... Whoa, what's going by us? OHC fuel, that's debris. Leave a little bit of debris, one piece of debris, and it just about hits us. Oh my god. Well, not really. That's funny. Let's get about a minute away. But the moment you're at full throttle and this time is still going down is the moment you're going to probably blow right by your target. I'm doing pretty good. I did a bad rendezvous last week. I want to make up for it. This is working well. Knocking off speed, bringing down our closest approach distance, keeping it at about 50 seconds away. Great. Closest approach now is about 80 meters. We knocked off a lot of speed too. Get ourselves closer here. Oh, we're now in the render distance. You can just see our asteroid. You look very familiar. Weren't you in orbit about the moon just a little while ago? We're still a ways away from it. Oh, our docking hub's pointing at us, so that's nice. Coming at it from the right side. In fact, why don't we take this opportunity right now to switch over to it. We have a 2.5 meter docking port on an adapter right here. And that is what we're going to target. We're not close enough yet, but once we're close enough, we will. There we are. Set that as a target. Control from here. Start slowing down some more. Let's see if I push this way. Yeah. No, this way. Push down towards the planet. Come in behind it. Oh, no, no, I definitely don't want to do that. I can see it now. It's up there. Sorry, I had that all mixed up. This way. Beautiful. Okay. Should be able to find that. Oh, there it is. Little node here for the. Should just turn all the way around this way. That looks good. Alright, Kerbals or tourists, you're about to get what you wanted. About to get your... I think I'm more or less heading the right way. It's a little hard to tell. Maybe not. Let's... Oh my gosh, look at that asteroid wobble. Some major asteroid wobble going on. Yeah, we definitely have to do something with this. This is gonna be a interesting. Might be getting that auto strutting happening again. I'm not even doing anything to this asteroid and this thing's wobbling back and forth. So I can see my target on the nav ball, so I'm just trying to sort of come towards it here. I think I'm coming just too quick. Too quick. Slow down. Push a little bit forward. There it is. You can see my target or the prograde icon. Now it's moving right. We got this. Unless it wobbles and shakes itself apart completely, we got this. Hopefully it's what the tourists wanted. If this doesn't satisfy the contract, I don't know what I did wrong. Oh my gosh, RCS off. Just stop it. Let it wobble. Okay. All right, we got this contract settled. I can see that here. You see it's we got everything green here. There's a time. We got to be up here for 15 minutes, but that is in the process of now ticking down. We are no longer in low space about Kerbin. That's kind of yeah. Okay, so I was hoping to get a low space asteroid sample. This I just got to wait for another 14.5 minutes and the tourist contract is satisfied, so that is a good thing. We can definitely get a asteroid sample in high space. I have a whole stack of struts all in these inventory containers, so we'll look to see if we can do some strutting and stuff, but I think what I'm going to want to do... I kind of want to avoid this going around the moon business. I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll... you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. I got a moon encounter coming up. Do I want to take advantage of it and put myself in the polar orbit that I'm shooting for? Or do I want to avoid the moon, come back down to low space so that we can collect some more science? I'm not sure. But you know what? I'm looking at the time of the stream, and I'm thinking that's going to have to be a decision for that's like a season cliffhanger. I think I'm going to have to leave it at. So I'm going to bring this stream to a close. I'm also bringing to a close this little series. We will be coming back to my live streams with Kerbalism in about 2 or 3 months. In the meantime, every Monday, expect to see a new career mode tutorial, pure stock, coming out, and that will be happening for the next 2 or 3 months every single week. In the meantime, though, I want to thank everybody that's in the stream. I want to thank everybody watching this at a later date. And of course, as always, a very special thank you to all of my Patreon patrons and YouTube members who continue to motivate me to keep doing this. Have yourselves a great time. Don't forget, on Thursday, I still am doing Below Zero. Those live streams will continue. But in the meantime, thanks everybody, and we'll see you all later.